And so you would think that if anyone would recognize Jesus, it would be the 12 guys who had been hanging out with him for a few years, right? But there he is. He's on the side of the lake, and he's close enough that when he yells out to these guys, they at least hear him. They're at least conversing with him. And so it's surprising, right? It's one of those funny little things that I think we sometimes read over in the Scripture. It's like, why didn't they see him? Why didn't they recognize him? They should have known him, right? And I think about that. And I think about the invitation of humility as a discovery, because I think a lot of us who have become very familiar with our evangelical faith tradition, who've grown up in the church, think we recognize Jesus. We think we know him. We think we see him. And I think there's a time where maybe he's calling out to us and we don't know it's him. When we were on the Camino de Santiago, we walked with this Italian nuclear physicist who lives in Paris, France, right? And this guy was crazy. He'd stop everywhere, and he'd look at these folks selling bread on the side of the road, or some old man begging, or one of the monks in the monastery, and he was always just sort of looking. We'd ask him, "What are you looking for, man?" And Simone would say, "I'm looking for Jesus. Maybe he's going to meet us today on the road." I think sometimes we are a little arrogant and pretentious and presumptuous in what has become our faith experience, what has become our relationship with God, what has become the form of our Christianity that we over-identify with, so much so that we don't see him, that we don't recognize him, and that we can't hear him. And what's funny and what's awkward is that those who should have didn't. But then it's those that are on the margins in the Scripture. It's the man possessed by the legion of demons. It's the man standing beside Christ, one of his executioners, who recognize him and who recognize him right away. And I wonder if it's not simply the deficiency of their soul, but if it's the humility of their human condition that gives them the eyes to see Jesus. And I wondered this morning if that could be part of our discovery. That maybe we could unwind a little bit of this and really ask for the eyes to be able to see Christ in humility, be able to hear Christ, and be able to recognize the invitation of Jesus